Oh, yes. Welcome on into a Wednesday edition of Philly Voice Sports Bets. And this is basically a Super Bowl centric edition, although I've got some college basketball plays. And of course, we've got golf. I'm sure Aton has a golf
Waste
play or
management.
two for the Waste Management Open, which
10.
is. It's actually, this is the epicenter of the sports world, not only because of the Super Bowl, but because of the golf tournament too. It's crazy out there. Verbos and Airbnbs are just going for like exorbitant prices. It's got to be, it's the most hijacked event in the world to me each year is the Super Bowl. I mean, you're going to pay triple, quadruple for everything.
Yeah.
But, a lot of Eagle fans out there in the desert having a ball already, from what I understand. But, I got a couple of plays here, a couple of, things to repeat that we've done or that I've already given out for the Super Bowl. But where do you want to start, guys? Who wants to jump in here?
I mean, I guess
one thing I did.
I was just going to say, I only added one big prop, and I think Patty Mahomes is throwing an interception.
Me too.
Really?
Yeah, okay. I jumped in there too.
Wow, that's really the only thing that's changed for me too drastically. I think that he's going to have no choice but to throw, and I think a big part of Andy Reid kind of plotting this is he wants to make Patty throw. He wants to take out the run game because realistically, you're not going to rely on Pacheco. You're not going to rely on Ronald Jones to keep you in a Super Bowl. That's just not realistic for them. I think he's going to have a lot of shotgun formations, kind of back foot throws for Patty. But this Eagles secondary is deadly, and I think they're going to get one on him.
I totally agree with you for much of the same reasons. Mahomes threw 12 throughout the year. You look back at some of these games, he threw 3 against Denver in one game. Well, this Philadelphia Eagles defense is every bit Denver plus 100. You know what I mean? With the pass rush that they get, he's going to be under a lot of heat. And I agree with you. This secondary for the Eagles, they're a bunch of ball hawks back there, and I think they're going to at least get one.
$10 to win $2,000. Both Kelces to score.
Oh,
I added that.
Where's that on?
That's on FanDuel.
Okay.
And remember, I had the free bet that I used any offensive lineman to score a touchdown. Right. I need to double check if that's any offensive lineman to score a touchdown or to score a receiving touchdown. Because again, I'm really concerned right now that Kelce is in the backfield. And all right, it is a 1+ receiving touchdown.
Okay.
So this bet that I took, and that's what I was a little unsure. This bet that I took is somewhat, all right, it's both Jason and Travis Kelce to score 1+ touchdown each. It's 200 to 1, $10 to win $2,000. And what you're doing is you're essentially locking in Jason Kelce or Travis Kelce, but you're getting Jason Kelce in any circumstance. Like Jason Kelce can fall on the football and get credited with a touchdown, or Jason Kelce can go the old refrigerator Perry, or he can catch one. Like, it doesn't matter. I don't want to get short. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to get shorted on Jason Kelce carrying one in on the goal line and any offensive lineman to score a receiving touchdown bust. Like, Travis Kelce's going to score. I would bet that.
Yes.
So now I'm just adding Jason to the mix. $10 to win $2,000.
I love that. That's a great play. And I love the way you broke that down for the people to make sure, exactly what you're looking at here, because it can be confusing for people, when they come up with these crazy bets. The only anytime touchdown that I'm on right now has been Boston Scott at plus 425. I just looked, though. It's up to plus 450. So I kind of missed out on a little bit of value there. But
these are crazy markets, man. I wouldn't put too much into it. You don't know. Like, it could be some belligerent idiot with a lot of money or multiple people. So I wouldn't kill. Look, I wouldn't kick yourself. I'll off the air. I can show you my ticket last night that I hit on the that I had with the Odd Shopper Discord. 5 college basketball plays, Harry. I went 1 for 4. Guess how many games I hit CLV in? All fucking 5. Did it matter? No, because I'm on the wrong side. So if you're on the right side of your play, you're on the right side of your play. I like that, Boston Scott. Gainwell's the other guy, though.
Right. Yeah. And that's less value, though. I think that's in the 300s, right?
Yeah.
Pacheco over 67.5 rushing and receiving at -115. I just checked. It's up to 69.5 now as far as yards. So I like sitting here at 67.5. I still think he's going to be a big part of what they do, even though they did get Edwards-Helaire now activated, who has been out for the last couple of weeks, maybe a month and a half. But I still think
he's
Pacheco,
not even on the board to bet.
Yeah,
Right.
I've truthfully never been a big fan of that guy. I feel like he's had his opportunities, but with what you've seen from Pacheco, there's just, I feel like, no reason to go back to Clyde at all.
He's trending,
I think,
as they say.
I think you can build a ladder here if you can get an alt, which you may not be able to, depending on the book. But I'm surprised you went rushing and receiving, Harry, only because the Eagles could be up. And look, the first half Eagles play and what have you. I think the best play, maybe on the board from a player prop standpoint, is actually Pacheco over 16.5 receiving yards. You look at how often he's hit that number. You know that Patrick Mahomes has to get him the ball in the air. So I'm with you. Like, our two plays correlate, but I don't know if we need to do the heavy lifting with the rushing.
It's only 16.5 receiving.
Yeah.
Wow, that's an automatic. That's an automatic because he's a great dump off guy too. When Mahomes under pressure, you just got to get rid of the ball, get it to Pacheco, see if you can break a tackle, and get yourself a first down. I love that.
I got a prop that could interest you guys. Now, this isn't necessarily a player prop, but more of a Rihanna prop. All right. So, what color dress is Rihanna coming out with? And
because she might change costumes 3 times in 12 minutes.
Exactly. Yep. This is the primary color for the first song. Black right now sitting at -150, white at +450, yellow or gold at +500, gray and silver at 575, and then my thought is for value, especially red at +750.
Well, they can't be silver or black because that's the Raiders. There's no way the Chiefs would allow that.
Yellow sheet. All right. So here's the thing. I had a theory, and we actually did this prop this morning on Fox, and Karen Hepp jumped right in, and gut reaction was black. And she is way more in tune with what Rihanna's doing on a day-to-day basis than I am. And I would defer, just like if Harry said Brendan Steele without even blinking top 40 this week, which he's not. But again, if he did, then I would say, all right, absolutely, I'm going to tail Brendan Steele top 40. So black was my initial thought. Then I put a theory out, and I don't know about it. She just put a video congratulating out LeBron. I wonder if there's any type
of Lakers gold.
Yeah, yellow. Yes. That's what I'm right.
Well, it's yellow or gold, right? Isn't it? That yellow or
500.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what I mean. Like, clearly the value's on red. I think black might be the best play if that's her vehicle of choice, if you will, of what you're wearing on the first song of major events. This is a major event for her, right? So, but just she put this thing out with LeBron. That's all I'm saying.
What if she comes out in nothing but a LeBron gold and purple Lakers jersey, and wears it as a dress?
I think that guess covers the yellow and gold.
Yeah.
Yes, I would think so.
There you go.
But I'm just saying, just to get away from the Chiefs yellow gold, we make it so like I'm just wearing Lakers
neutral.
gear.
Yeah, it's a neutral field. Okay. And then I got another one for you. This one a lot of people are referring to as America's prop, and that is whether or not there will be a wardrobe malfunction. And that one, the odds of that come in is a whopping +650, and then no, -1200. Now, are we getting Janet Jackson vibes?
Are you really going to bet $1,200 to win $100?
No way.
Rihanna, I think, plays such a great to the imagination. Like, Rihanna would probably show just enough to where
like
it's
under
not
boob.
exactly
like
right.
An
like
under boob.
exactly. 3/4 side, like, but it's not full on like malfunction. And I think that's part of her showmanship.
I totally agree. See, you are in tune with Rihanna. That you just outed yourself with that kind of knowledge and that kind of insight into her wardrobe. You outed her yourself like you have no idea. You are so deep in Rihanna right now.
I
am.
Not even fun. I didn't even realize it. Unbelievable. Maybe it's my wife or the radio or something. I should go back to listening to sports.
No, you shouldn't. No, you shouldn't. Oh man!
Now, will there be a flea flicker? Is plus 210? By the way, either one of these guys have the stones to run that.
Well, we talked about it a couple of times already on this show that we think Sirianni could be up to something special. I think Andy Reid, it's a lock. There's going to be some sort of trick type of play. Maybe, I'm not talking about a fumble Rooski or something, but I'm just saying something, like a flea flicker or something where somebody, that doesn't normally throw a pass, throws a pass. Pacheco could be that guy. I think he might have played some quarterback in high school. But I think Sirianni is definitely going to want to put his thumbprint on this game, knowing what he has to walk past on a weekly basis at the link. He's going to I'm an offensive genius too, and I've got as good a weapons as they had on that team back in 2017. I've got a better quarterback. I'm going to come up with something.
I like it. I think you're on to something. Absolutely.
Now, does that count as a flea flicker? Because a flea flicker is typically, they toss it back to a back, and then it goes back to the quarterback, and then he throws it, 60 yards down the field.
That's what I mean. I don't think it's going to count as a flea flicker. I think a fumble Rooski would be a different play.
Right, and that's an old Nebraska play. Tom Osborne used to run that in the 80s.
Unbelievable. Now I tried to find one for golf. I could not, but I do have
a cross promotion thing. Okay.
I do have one for college basketball.
All right.
So are you going to talk about the Temple? We can go rapid fire and hit any last Super Bowl stuff if you want, whatever, Harry. But if you're going to talk about the Temple Memphis game, that's
a noon tip on Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah, and I got something that I wanted to run by you guys. It's a cross sport.
Go ahead.
I don't know what else you have on the game. If not, then that's fine.
No, I'm done with the game, except what I've added in here is I'm taking the Eagles on the money line at minus 125, along with my tease that I put in a week or so ago of Kansas City plus 8.5 and the total of 44 going over. So I'm taking the Eagles money line, trying to, sort of get a middle there, and under 51 on the game. It's up to 51 now. I took the under.
Key number.
And
good job.
14 Super Bowls thus far in the history of the Super Bowl have had a total of 50 plus. This is the 14th. Of the previous 13, the under has hit 9, 3, and 1.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going under 51.
15. What's the number that it was under over the last 15 years? 51 or 50.5?
A total of 50 or more, or 50 or more. Yes.
Right. Now, what's the push though? What would that? You said 9, 3, and 1. What was the push?
Yeah, I don't know what the specific game was and what the total was, but I just know.
But we know 51 is a key number. So if you're under 51 or really anything below that, you're in good shape. And honestly, I wouldn't be, if it's at 51 right now, I think it's going to drop. So I wouldn't be adverse to buying up the half a point now at 51 to 51.5, especially in a same game parlay, like you mentioned. Nice, man.
All right.
Look, the thing, I'm riding these two futures tickets right now, the 6-1 with the Eagles on Fox, and the one that I threw out here on the 11th for McCaffrey and Mixon to, be the leader. McCaffrey is still in the lead by a significant amount and could actually win this whole thing. So I'm going to be sweating Christian McCaffrey as the leading playoff rusher on this ticket here. Even though, and if you look at it like Sanders, and maybe if Gainwell has 100 yards or something like that, but these guys need big game. Like Sanders is about 90 or so yards behind McCaffrey. So that's the one. The
and it's
other
only
one that
rushing,
I like,
right?
Only
It's
rushing,
just
correct?
rush. That's massive.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Sanders had
Eagles,
the 2 touchdowns last week, but didn't rush for a lot of yards. Gainwell
correct.
got all the yards.
Yep.
Yeah.
Correct. And that's what you're dealing with is a 3-headed backfield, so that could work.
Okay.
So the 3 I'd throw out here, Eagles first to make a challenge. Again, that's at plus 110. It's a coin flip for me, so I'll take the extra value there. Sirianni's a maniac.
Mhm.
Can't imagine that he wouldn't challenge. And the field goal prop, 1+ field goal each first half. That's for the Super Bowl prime time. That's in effect. And I got Reddick and Smith at 50-1. So we'll see what happens. Crazier shit can happen there. Yeah.
MVP.
I think the octopus was so heavily bet this year that it's not going to hit, but I have FOMO on it, so I bet it.
FOMO. Jeez. All right. College basketball tonight. There's 2 games that kind of jumped out at me. 2 ranked teams that are underdogs tonight, and I'm going to go against them in both situations. Utah State playing at home against San Diego State. Utah State laying 2. Give me the Aggies minus the 2. And West Virginia is hosting Iowa State in the Big 12. Iowa State's a really good home team, not so much on the road. West Virginia laying 3.5 at home. Give me Huggy Bear and the Mountaineers.
Second play, I love, absolutely love. You're right, Iowa State. I think a lot of people would look at record and probably not even take time to look at the splits on that team. Utah State is a tricky place. That's not in some like random gym or like on some aircraft carrier, right? That's a tough place to play.
It is a tough place to play.
But it's a short line, and the Aggies are a good basketball team. But I may pass on. I know you've been hot. I may pass on the first one. I'll definitely tell you on the second one.
Well, I lost on Texas the other night. They disappointed.
Well, yeah,
me
but I mean,
Kansas,
that's
but,
we don't cherry pick wins and losses. We didn't.
Yeah.
Hey, we didn't bring up the Blazers game from last week either, right, Harry? So we don't cherry pick.
The Blazers and the Wizards. Right? Yes.
Yeah. I only remember because of the early win token that's been moving here. All right.
Oh, and did you notice that my Houston Cougars are plus 700, the favorites to win the national championship on DraftKings?
Not terrible right now.
Plus 700.
So let me hit you with this before we hit any golf, and I know Matt's got some NBA or whatever on the way out, man. AJ Brown. All right, so this is the bet right here because it looks like this is the only one that you can get in on. AJ Brown receiving yards. What's more? All right, I'll give you the odds associated with it. AJ Brown receiving yards at minus 145 or Temple's team total versus Memphis at plus 110.
Ooh. Temple's team total is probably going to be in the 70s in that game.
I would think so.
Yeah.
Now, let's see, right, what A.J. Brown's receiving yards listed.
Been pretty inflated as the past few weeks. It's been rough.
Yeah,
I gotta figure.
It's at 70. Sorry, real quick. It's at 71.5, the book's
Okay. All right, so that lines up with kind of near. That's a really tough bet. That's a really good bet. I think the Chiefs go into this game the same way Spags is going to treat him as he did Jamar Chase for the Bengals, and they bracketed him. I think it's going to be tough for A.J. Brown to get some. I mean, he might get some receptions, but I don't know how much he's going to do in big-time yards.
I like that.
You know, I mean, he could end up with 5 receptions, for 58 yards. But I don't know. I mean, you got to figure Spagnuolo is going to treat him the same way that they did the Bengals, right? I mean, Higgins had a bunch of catches. Devontae Smith could end up having a big game or Goddard. You got to pick your poison. But
they're terrible against tight ends. I think Goddard, the more I think this through, Goddard is going to be a guy that is probably going to be an easier target. He's at 48.5 receiving yards. All right, so look, I throw it out there. You never know with this crazy shit.
No, that's pretty good because I think the Owls will get into the 70s against Memphis. I think it's going to be a pretty good game. They got SMU tonight. They're a road favorite at a tough place to play. SMU is not a very good basketball team, but they're good at home because that the crowd is like on top of you there.
Do you like SMU?
I can't trust them. I can't trust the Owls, and I can't go against them, so I'm staying away from it.
Okay, gotcha.
All right, I'm looking at the NBA right now. I got 2 plays, both plus money. First one I'm taking is Aaron Naismith, over 1.5 3-pointers. You look at his last 5 games, and he's hit this line in 3 out of the last 5, but the volume was there in all of these games. He attempted 5, 7, 8, 5, and 4 3-pointers in his last 5 games. So volume-wise, I love it. And against a team like the Heat that aren't necessarily good on the 3-point line, I really like him to get that tonight. And then I am taking Bogdan Bogdanovic over 2.5 assists.
We're going double Bogdan.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Bojan Bogdanovic. Over 2.5 assists. Plus 124. Okay. And he's hit this line in 4 out of his last 5. I mean, he's actually diming up out there for the Pistons. It's part of the reason that they don't want him on the move anymore. They're keeping him locked up there. So I really like this line, especially for plus money.
Wow. Bogdan Bogdanovic, not Eitan Aitonovich.
No, but it's I like it.
Basketball name for you.
That would be. I might create a guy on 2K and name him that.
Well, I'm surprised we haven't had a visit from that old guy that smokes the pipe on this show.
Oh yeah, well I'm in the wrong room.
Oh, okay.
I have all that stuff set aside in the other room.
Because I thought he'd be doing his own Super Bowl pregame show.
Yeah, I might do a same game parlay video with him for Odd Shopper a little later.
Yes. What is his name, by the way? Does he have a name?
I don't know. I have to find a name for him. There's a team in Jacksonville. Oh man,
that was great.
Just trying to get clicks, that's all. Just trying to get some clicks, cuz.
I get it. All right, now is that all you got in the NBA? Are you that swole and hungover from LeBron James's great game last night?
No, look,
that's all you got.
I could give you another one real quick. I'm coming another one. Buddy Hield.
Though, before you, go ahead.
Buddy Hield
over 4.5 rebounds. That one in terms. So right now I'm using a software that's giving me anything above a 55% hit rate. Is coming up on this one. So that is Buddy Hield as well and his rebounds. And I like it tonight. I really like that matchup for him. The Heat have not been rebounding a lot down low. Bam Adebayo has kind of been stretching the floor a little bit more. So I feel like they could take advantage of that and Buddy could be cleaning the glass a little bit.
Wow.
Okay. Nice, man. Nice. I'm going to give you the Wolves. One thing to think about in the NBA, Wolves +5. Last I saw it, that's fine. They are a pretty good candidate here as well for the early win token. If you're running that on DK, you're going to get good plus money for them, and they can get up. Utah comes off inexcusable loss, right? Where Dallas, without Kyrie, without Luka, just lost. And there they go. They gut the Jazz at home versus Minnesota, who should lose to Denver. Like, I get it. They were down 30 after 1, and Jokic had a triple-double, I think, as soon as he stepped on the floor. But that's not as surprising and gut-wrenching at all. It's like, okay, Gobert barely played last night, so Minnesota, he's back in Utah. They beat him the first time around. Gobert was really strong then. I think getting 5 here is where I would play it. But I'd also look at them as an early win token option as well. All you need to do is get up by 10. You don't need to win the game.
Yeah, that early win is clutch, because you see a lot of these leads, they never even really stick. These 10-point leads in the NBA, they come and go. But the fact that they're still letting you cash out that early, that's great. That's great.
Yeah, how long can that continue?
I think they made a lot in the NFL just because it's difficult to get up by 10 and just run something like that. But Matt's right, where road teams, especially like dogs, especially road dogs, are fantastic.
I like it.
All right, we want to get to the golf, Eitan?
Yep, let's do it.
All right, I took in my one and done. I already had it out there on the Swing It and Ding It podcast. Hideki Matsuyama, to me, just dominates this golf course, and he's won here twice. He's got 2 other top 5s. He was 8th last year, and then 2 additional top 20s on top of all that stuff in the last 10 years. He's hasn't finished once on this golf course in the last 10 years, and he had to withdraw, had an injury. So he's basically an automatic top 10. So I'm going to take him in one and done. And I also took him top 10 at plus 320. A couple of matchups. I took Fowler over Henley at minus 120. Sung Jae over JT at minus 120. And when can you get the world's #1 at plus money in a matchup? When he goes up against Jon Rahm. Rahm is minus 140. Give me Rory McIlroy at plus 110 over Jon Rahm.
Wow. Rory's been playing a lot. Anybody thinking that he's just been sitting on his ass?
No, he won 2 weeks ago in the desert over in the Middle East. Yeah.
Right.
And I know there's going to be a lot of mano a mano with those two, because Rahm wants the #1 position in the world more than you can imagine. And he feels like he's been jobbed with the way that they work the algorithm and the points and everything, because he's basically playing as good as the #1 player in the world right now, but he's like ranked 3rd. So I think sometimes he gets a little bit too motivated. You can be a little bit too motivated. It's home cooking. He lives down there. I think he might have a little too much pressure on his shoulders. Rory comes in and smokes him.
I like it, man. I think you're on to something by all means, especially getting plus money, as you mentioned there with that matchup. I think for me, it's, I'm looking at a couple of guys that I like just to win outright. And these are going to be guys that I would ladder as well in top 20s, right, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
The first guy, and I actually used a boost. Well, no, I used a boost on somebody you mentioned, Tom Kim.
Mm-hmm.
And I boosted him from 20-1 to 35 or 30, to 1. So I have Kim at now 30-1. And I think that's great if you look at the other guys that are at 30-1. Fleetwood is a guy I took at 60-1. I'll take him top 20 as well. Yeah. Taylor Montgomery is a guy that I took. If he, look, he's the best putter, right? One of the best putters in the world. If scrambling, I know, has been an issue at times, but this is a place where he, of all people, can probably get away with having an issue kind of off, not from the tee, if you will, but getting closer approach shots. And that hasn't killed him either. So he's a guy I took a shot. Look, I took a shot at 2 guys that I probably won't ladder, but Cantlay and Finau. Cantlay has played here well. Finau, I love the environment for Finau.
Cantlay lost in the playoff last year.
First time, right?
Yeah.
And then if you want a long shot, how about Brendan Steele or Matt Kuchar?
There you go. You mentioned Kuchar the other day. As a long shot.
You know what's crazy? And the win share percentage didn't drop much. But Kuchar went from 65-1 on Monday to 150-1 on Tuesday.
Wow.
Now, again, the win share percentage didn't drop that much, but just looking at it like, whoa, that's a lot on the surface.
Crazy. What's that?
Take that for what it's worth. Because golf, like any individual sport, markets move. They're super volatile. And again, it was Ben explained it to me even, and I can show you like the percentage of the win share from 65-1 to 50-1 is about 0.6%. So 65, or so think of this, 65-1, the win equity is the term, sorry. The win equity of 65-1 is 1.5%. The win equity of 150-1 is 0.65%. So it's not a full percent point that you've even lost. To put that in perspective real quick, I don't want to go deep into math. The win equity of 30-1 is 3.3%. The win equity of 70-1 is 1.4%. So it's double the loss to go from 30-1 to 70-1 as it is to go to 65-1 to 150. It just looks on the screen like, oh my God, what happened?
Right.
What happened? That's
wow.
That's
crazy.
Look, he ain't going to do anything, but I'll take him.
All right. If that's all we got, I think we gave you enough.
Yeah, we got a lot of Super Bowl bets here.
A lot of Super Bowl stuff,
yeah,
a lot
fun
of basketball.
stuff, legit stuff. Yep.
It's a light night in the NHL tonight, only 2 games, so I didn't expect you to have any shots on goal props. So we'll just stick with the NBA, the college basketball, and the Super Bowl, and we'll talk to you down the road.